Welcome guys back to the channel where here I'm going to provide you the best career insights and career advice possible through the Nexa universe. So today we have something specially requested for a local region called Toronto, Ontario, Canada. We're going to talk about unemployment and employment trends in this specific region, Ontario, Canada. So this is just an overview. We're diving deep in the data to uncover essentially what it means for job seekers, industries, and regional economies for Ontario, Canada coming in 2025. So let's start off with Ontario's landscape. Currently, Ontario's employment growth for 2025 is projected at 1.5%, which is approximately about, you could say, 114,000 new jobs. Not too bad. But the unemployment rate sits at 6.9%. Obviously, that reflects there's a population growth slowdown and there's some sort of economic expansion happening, and we got to dive deeper into that, right? Now, obviously, the pre-pandemic average was about 5.8%, but this is still significantly lower than what we saw in the 2020s. Now, with this information, you get two things, right? Number one, there is a shift towards high-skilled roles, and particularly in healthcare, technology, and trades. These are great sectors to be in. We'll talk about this deeper later on in the video. Two, population growth, right? Ontario obviously seen a huge boom of almost 200,000 new residents annually from, of course, very commonly known in immigration and, of course, interprovincial migration. And we'll dive deep into this later on the pros and cons of that. Now, let's get into some regional insights for obviously the most popular cities that you know. One being Toronto, right? Toronto is home to 40% of Ontario's workforce. That's almost half of it. Now, here's a big challenge. 8.2% is the unemployment rate, which is higher than the provincial rate by a lot. That is a lot of people looking for work. Not a good thing. Now, tech and finance remain strong. Technology, Toronto is the epicenter of that. It's like being in, a micro New York almost, but cost of living pressures are high. And, this pushes workers to consider other cities where they can have a better work-life balance and, just feel like a better quality of life. Other really notable cities that you guys may or may not know of is Ottawa. Ottawa is, of course, the capital of Canada. Their unemployment rate sits at 5.2%. They're driven by, of course, growth in government, right? Parliament Hill, tech, and renewable energy sectors, right? There is obviously a huge and high demand for bilingual professionals, meaning individuals that can speak very good English and French, and it's going to continue to create a lot of opportunities because that's a demand sector for that area. Some places where you never heard of, Windsor and Sarnia, right? This is a bit more further out in Ontario. Only maybe locals will know about this, right? So automotive manufacturing is obviously heavily evolving here with a focus on electric vehicles, right? Companies like the Stellantis battery plant, they create thousands of jobs here, of course, despite lingering challenges. This will create an upskilling gap, right? Either from traditional automotive plants, which will now transition to more electric type of plants, as well as the whole sector of the automotive industry will probably be 80% pushed to automation just for better efficiency in operations, which will force all of this crude or large amount of workers to upskill and transition into other roles. And like I always say, trades, tech, and healthcare are heavily booming. Another place where you might have heard of, you might not, it's a really good cottage county, is Muskoka. It has a 2.6% unemployment rate. It's fairly small, so I wouldn't say it makes a big difference on a global scale, but it is good for entrepreneurs and remote workers. Of course, it's driven by lower costs, and it's a growing tourism industry because it's beautiful in the summer, winter for these kind of cottage things to do. Now, key industries and roles, right? So as I mentioned earlier, healthcare. People always miss this, but Ontario is short 34,000 nurses and healthcare workers, right? There's huge demands for nurse practitioners, personal support workers, and health IT specialists are skyrocketing. Guys, just because FANG never got back to you, that doesn't mean your IT is in demand. People are going crazy on TikTok. Is tech cooked? Is tech being replaced by AI? Dude, you're looking at the top 10 companies, which everybody on the world wants to be a part of that. That shouldn't be your only focus. The whole world needs technology. Every sector runs on some sort of tech. Healthcare, hospitals, these industries, they need people in data, tech, software as well. It's a very growing demand. Put your baskets there. You'll definitely get some interviews and responses heading your way. Secret tip there, guys. Of course, technology, right? These cities, Toronto, I mean, tech sector is going to grow by 20% in 2026 easily, right? AI, software engineering, and cybersecurity, huge demand, especially in cities like Toronto and Ottawa. Toronto alone, actually, fun fact, accounts for 30% of Canada's tech jobs. It literally is, I call it the Canadian Silicon Valley, making it a hot spot for innovation. Now, another cool sector, aside from healthcare and tech, is green energy and trades, right? Billions will be allocated to renewable energy product, and Ontario is looking for solar panel installers, wind turbine technicians, and project managers. Guys, there's only so much energy we have left, which is probably gonna last maybe another century or so. We need to figure out ways for alternative clean energy so we can have a sustainable planet for your kids and grandkids and their grandkids to come, right? It's a great sector. It's a challenging problem to solve, and we need people to be in that sector. Number 4, many people don't know this, but education and training, right? Because people are trying to reskill and upskill because such advancements in technology and so much information available to us, right? We need people to maybe teach that, to create tools to better teach that, right? So online educational, technical trainers and instructors. So if you're good at something, you can turn that into another role in a literally career business, just like that on your own, right? So now, of course, the challenges, guys, unemployment's, right? You see, I talked about what's growing, what's getting in demand, but also there's a big number there for the employment percentage rate that, it's kind of like the elephant in the room. So the overall outlook obviously seems promising, but there is a challenge, right? In Ontario and especially Toronto, the youth unemployment rate is projected to be around 12%. And the biggest driving factor of that is the scarcity of entry-level roles. And of course, automated tasks for a lot of previous entry-level type of work, which obviously is not the best, but that doesn't mean that there's not that much opportunity. Obviously, the competition went up, right? We have a lot more influx of immigrant workers. Now, Ontario is a very diverse place, but obviously many people struggle to secure jobs with their qualifications. There's also not a lack of programs for credential recognition, and it's essential to address this, right? Ontario has a budget impact as well, right? Budgetary constraints on social services and infrastructure may also slow job creation in key sectors. Key fun fact, that's exactly what we're doing here at Nexa to solve that, where we create a platform where it's very easy for anybody and everyone to pretty much work on any career you guys want with all the tools available. So you don't have to rely on these social worker programs, these government employment programs who probably don't care as much. Now, aside from that, I want to let you guys know here are a few things you can do to stay competitive based on research and literal experience we get from we interview experts in the field, people that are emerging in the field, as well as how we're using this innovation to build Nexa. And number 1, common sense, guys, upskill, right? If you're thinking about doing technology or obviously the tech sector, learning skills like, right, nothing, there's no like preliminarily hierarchy here, but just going off of an example, like Python, SQL for databases, cloud computing, right? AWS, Amazon, Azure, things like this. Very, very helpful, right? Getting certifications, right? Companies are going to slowly retract from degrees and resumes, although they're still going to be there. They're going to be like, well, you talk the talk, can you walk the walk? So certification in healthcare, renewable energy, these project management, right? If that's what you want to do, obviously helps you stand out. It's not about just standing out. It's just saying, hey, I'm qualified and here's why, right? Very important, one that people don't do. They usually just blast it on LinkedIn and think that's going to help. But you guys should try to attend job fairs and more events in like Toronto, Ottawa, Waterloo region, right? And go out of your way, right? Don't just like do some basic network networking. Do some in-person networking. But on a side note, connecting with recruiters on LinkedIn is really helpful. Just know how to approach them and message them so you don't just get rejected or blocked because you're coming off obnoxious. Give value to receive value. Now, another great tool that you guys can use is leverage tools like ours, like Nexa, right? Practice interviews, resume tailoring, building personal brands, getting showcased in front of job seekers through our skill platform where you build out and you showcase your skills, and that connects to our network of employers. Tools like this is helpful because it makes you so indistinguishable, so ready and prepared that you just stand out to the employers, right? So the best way I can put it is, guys, Ontario's job market for 2025 is obviously going to offer countless opportunities, and staying informed and prepared is key, right? Thriving sectors, healthcare, tech, green energy. It's not always going to be tech, and there's tech in healthcare and green energy. Remember, don't just focus on FANG. This could be your breakout year. Once again, if you found this valuable, we always appreciate you. Please like it, share it, subscribe it. That will help us create more type of videos where you can comment, get other countries in there. We can get other cities, right? We spend a lot of time doing this research and then presenting it to you in like an easy, very compacted report. Once again, let us know in the comments what you like. And with that being said, we'll see you in the next one.